You know, I don't like being an asshole all the time. I can enjoy a simple comfort show that's easily digestible and wholesome 100. Gay shit like romance anime is great for that, though afterwards I'm usually crushed by the unbearable weight of loneliness and the cold, uncaring nature of the universe. That's what I imagined this show would be, from the title and most of the first episode. It was fun, lighthearted, even my cynical ass didn't have any reason to hate it. Yet. Now, I thought this show might focus more on Lois, and her relationship with Superman/Clark. I wonder what would have given me that impression. For a show called My Adventures with Superman, I would have expected a bit more Lois, like as the main MC, with at least 75% of the screen time. But Clark is focused on just as much, if not more. Such a focus on Clark I didn't expect, nor did I really want from this show. If I wanted that, I'd watch one of the millions of other options. For a while there, I honestly couldn't tell if this was supposed to be a kid show. I wouldn't have expected it to be. It's anime styled, and anime is rarely for kids. And I heard of this show through older individuals, though not necessarily mature ones. Even if it's made for kids to be able to watch, that doesn't completely justify the distinctly childish vibe of this show's writing sometimes. I feel like it's the kind of thing that more mature audiences should be able to consume without dying of cringe. Like the likes of the old Teen Titans show, or the classic DC animated shows like Justice League and whatnot. Those are good examples. One of them literally has violence against children in it. Another episode goes into actual unironic conspiracies, and the conspiracy theorist character is literally right about everything. It's fucking great. They literally call him Q. He's fucking based.
Topically applied fluoride doesn't prevent tooth decay. It does render teeth detectable by spy satellite.
The fucker even gets a GF. I guess he's not literally me anymore. Despite these being officially kids shows, that didn't mean they had to be stupid or overly simplified. You can still make sense and be appropriate for a younger audience. But this doesn't even have that as an excuse, since it's apparently on Adult Swim. So fuck you, it's on the same network as the Boondocks. Ain't no way bro thinks it's a children's cartoon. I guess millennials are basically children. Now that I've got that out of the way, I'm gonna rip this show a new and fucking and then rape. I'm just kidding, I'm not gonna do that. Maybe. Let me be clear. I only got frustrated at this show because I was enjoying it at first. I recognized the silliness of quite a bit of it, but I shrugged it off for the sake of wholesome character shenanigans. So you're a writer. Obviously not really, because you're an uncreative fuck, but just roll with it. So you're a writer, and you want drama in the middle of your show. Some sort of conflict between the main characters. You need to find some way to get them to fight. So maybe try to think about the traits of the characters that have been built up so far, and brainstorm how they could come into conflict in a natural way. You might even have to go back and change some things in previous episodes. Wait, no, I know. Just make one of your likable main characters suddenly unreasonable and simple-minded. You know, just make one of them really fucking annoying. Look, I wasn't even paying close attention to the logic of everything happening. I was legit just watching the show super casually, and even then, this scene still came off weird.
You lied to me, Superman!
I didn't lie to you, I just didn't tell you everything.
A secret is another type of lie!
It's so fucking childish. Who the fuck on this wretched bitch planet doesn't have a secret? Most people have some sort of secret at some point in their lives, if only for the sake of privacy, even among close friends or even among lovers. But especially if it's someone you've only known for 5 episodes, and especially if you're a crazy mutant person from outer space, the nature of which you don't completely understand yourself, that probably won't come up after just one date. Especially since Lois explicitly told Clark she doesn't like Superman.
And it's all Superman's fault. Ugh. Sorry.
On top of all of that, that gives him even more reason not to tell her. Even if you think he should tell her, it should be understandable why he wouldn't want to. They even have the third wheel say as much, that he knew all along, but was waiting for when Clark was ready to tell him, like a normal fucking human being. So the writers understood that concept. So why did they make Lois so autistic? It's too simplistic. She's mad at him simply because he hid something, even if it's for an understandable reason. even though he only covered it with benign white lies. And the thing he was covering wasn't even bad. Lying at all is bad, and she doesn't like it. There's no sense of nuance in her head. You lie at all, you're dead to her. I wonder if she'd ice you if you lied and said she looked good in that dress instead of being honest and admitting she looks like shit. This is what I mean by it feeling like it was written for kids. Actually, nah, this is too stupid even for babies. It might make sense if she was characterized as particularly untrusting of people, but she was shown to be downright optimistic in the first few episodes.
We would have died without him. A man flew down from the sky and risked his life to save us. Not for a reward or fame, but just because we needed help.
Interpreting people's words in the best way possible?
I'll run your story on the day you get me a photo shoot with your very real flying man.
Lois?
Whoa! This is great! We just have to get an exclusive interview with Superman, and then Mr. White will have to take us seriously.
Except when it comes to the main character, the guy she likes, because we need a low point in the middle of the season.
Who is Superman?
Well, maybe he's a nice guy who has powers and just wants to use them to help as many people as he can.
Clark, if you had powers, you'd do that, but we're not talking about you.
Fuck you for being Superman.
By the way, didn't she lie in the first episode? When she told Clark and Jimmy that Boss Man was okay with the crap she dragged them along into? That was a better example of this kind of thing. Lois didn't just lie, but potentially dragged other people into serious trouble, and would have gotten them both fired if she happened to be wrong. Her lie could have actually hurt them. Clark lying about being a superhero hurts nobody. It's kind of funny. Did the writers think that's what they were writing? A parallel between these two scenes? Because they didn't. But even with all that, I wasn't dismissive yet, just confused. I wanted to hold off judgment to see where it went, and thankfully they put the forced drama to rest in the next episode. Thank God. Only to start up another one. Obligatory multiverse bullshit, and it's just as thoughtlessly implemented as always. But it's such a good excuse for fan service. Ooh, look, a good Lois Lane. I hate this little guy, by the way. Reminds me of that one Teen Titans episode with the baby Robin from another universe. You know, one of the worst episodes. This whole thing was honestly so annoying to me. It came off as such a tangent. Finally, after the random forced drama we just came out of, the two MCs have a chance to develop their relationship and possibly make this show enjoyable again. Oh wait, no, here's some flimsy bullshit to be sus of Superman. We're still in the middle of the season. We can't have the characters getting along.
Not every Superman is good.
They bait the bad Superman bullshit, saying Clark could be evil because in 5 out of 7 quintillion universes he is, or something. I disagree with the very premise of this, and it being stretched out throughout the whole episode and beyond didn't make it much better. It's literally not him. An alternate version of you from another timeline is functionally a different person, with only certain similarities that vary increasingly with each universe. In infinite universes, there would be infinite evil versions of you, but there would also be infinite good versions of you, because that's the nature of infinity. Literally anything that could exist does, infinitely. Even if it's not infinite, this still applies. If the alternate yous are different enough to have completely different personalities like we see with Lois, then you can't base assumptions of one on another. You'd have to base your opinion of people on what you see of them specifically, like a normal fucking person. There being evil Supermen in alternate timelines means nothing. Using it even as potential crux for drama is fucking annoying to me. Right after another flimsy basis for drama, no less. I hate how this whole Superman could be dangerous concept is so often botched. People's distrust of him is seldom completely justified. All it apparently takes is one accident that doesn't even cause real harm or much damage, and everyone does a full 180 immediately. It's frustrating because this is a very realistic concern and an interesting direction to take a superhero story. What is stopping Superman from plucking the president out of the White House and punching him literally into another dimension? From the average person's perspective, and especially the government's, that's a crazy risk not worth taking. Whether it'd be likely or not, governments would have to prepare preemptive defensive measures in case of a rogue Superman. Exploring stuff like that could be super interesting. Here, people think he could be evil because someone from another universe who was similar to him became evil. And there was an alien robot invasion once, with no explicit ties to Superman. These aren't nothing, but certainly aren't enough to jump to the conclusions these people do.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Stop lying! I was there on Zero Day, and so were you!
This is cringy. Do they believe this thing was specifically Superman himself? I understand why you might consider that, and even interrogate or at least keep an eye on him, but there's no evidence that was at all related to him, let alone it being him specifically. For them to operate so heavily on that assumption, to have a scene with a guy yelling about it, it comes off more annoying than dramatic. They could have had these characters take similar actions based on slightly different assumptions. They could have interrogated him less extremely, because it makes sense to suspect he might be related to the invaders, but they went for the stupidest possible logic for this.
What if we're wrong?
I don't believe in the situation that's happening, so it's hard for me to be invested in the drama.
Remember when you asked me who I was? I finally have an answer for you. I'm an alien invader sent to kill you all.
What? Why would you jump to that conclusion? All you saw was 2 minutes of some anonymous flying CGI monstrosity failing at an invasion. Why the fuck would you assume you have anything to do with that? Let alone what your specific role in it would be. Why does Clark assume it's Kryptonians at all? Not even that is necessarily evident. I guess he never deciphered the message specifically sent by his father explaining who he was and why he's here, or else this would potentially be avoided. By the way, why would you leave a message in a language you know the recipient won't understand?
I can't even believe this.
Why wouldn't you implement some way for him to understand it, like every other adaptation? And how does Hollow Dad seem to react appropriately to some things Clark says in English? At least I can say Lois does drop the evil Superman bullshit, literally. Wait, why does she keep that in her purse? Well, that's inconvenient. Well, that's inconvenient. Well, that's inconvenient. Well, that's inconvenient. Why would kryptonite hurt robots? Am I supposed to know why Clark having a kryptonite seizure caused the AI to unleash the swarm? Hasn't he been kryptonited before, and this didn't happen? Literally all of this happens because Lois keeps the ball in her purse for some reason. That's hilarious. Okay, I had trouble understanding how the hologram dad could be so reactive, but how the fuck can Hollow Dad affect physical objects, let alone destroy giant robots like this? Jesus Christ, this is the fucking Force Ghosts all over again. I almost liked this episode too, because it focused on Lois and Clark's relationship stuff at first, until the goofy overarching plot bullshit took over the episode. Why is so much of this show focused on Clark with lamer versions of plot lines that were done better in other shows? The unique value of this show should be the particular focus on Lois and Clark's relationship. As per the title, it could have been so much more interesting, but got way too distracted with typical superhero action bullshit and exploration into Clark's character that has all been done much better many times before.
Oh, wait, James. You said you had something to share.
I sold Flamebird to the Daily Planet for $5.6 million. I'm super rich now.
He owned the Bird app? Or am I to believe he sold his fucking Twitch channel for millions? That's fucking severely life-changing money too. The casualness of this being brought up as a quick gag at the tail end of the episode is hilariously retarded. Also, the Robo Squad were apparently controlled by Brainiac, a Kryptonian AI thing if you don't know. Yeah, apparently Krypton was way ahead of us, and instead of AI taking away important jobs like streamers or spoiled brats, they skipped right to making an AI-controlled global government. And then the planet blew up, but you know. Either that, or I guess they're controlled by Kylo Ren. So there's your serving of Asperger's Superman lore for you. But because I want to pretend to be fair, I'll hand out some small W's as I saw them. Despite the conflict between Lois and Clark being the worst thing in the show, I liked the side plot in that episode of Jimmy dealing with the perils of being a side character. I can relate. Lois was cute sometimes, when I didn't want to kill her. The comedic timing is pretty on point generally. Okay, force positivity over. That really hurt me to do. Here's some more nitpicks. I don't like how objects in the background are sometimes whitewashed. It's pretty racist. I guess it's an attempt at a style, but it just looks unfinished. Fucking distracting. You might not have noticed this because the action parts are lame and unimportant, but in the first episode, Lois is able to disable the giant CGI monstrosities via convenient giant glowing buttons on the outside of the shipping containers. Yeah, good thing anyone can just do that. They definitely wouldn't be controlled remotely, only by authorized personnel. That would be stupid. Also, she teleports between shots here, what the fuck? And is it just me, or does this bit in the soundtrack sound like it came from Star Wars? For what it's worth, the music can be kinda boss sometimes.
I want off your weird hit list.
You have no idea what kind of technology you're dealing with.
Then I'd say it's a good thing I planted explosives all over the city.
That escalated quickly.
Such a ridiculous stereotypical villain plan. What exactly is your purpose? Blowing up the city just to get some guy off your ass. Most villains need a city to live in too, you know. Also, her ass is not laughing. Lol. Yeah, these villains of the weeks are mostly pretty lame. The guys introduced in episode 3 are alright. They seem to be a friend group of juveniles who were given way too much power. They're endearing characters. It's almost like you can develop them a bit more. Too bad there needs to be a different villain each episode for no reason. In one of the episodes, the gang impersonates some anime archetypes, which is funny and all, but I couldn't stop thinking about how they didn't need to do that if the police chief didn't even know enough about the people they were impersonating to know what they looked like. So why would you need to make an ass out of yourself in front of the cop boss? I guess Lois just really wanted to do this.
People have told you to fear Superman because he's different from us. But we humans are capable of causing hurt and pain too.
Okay, Lois, that is not a good defense. Superman is capable of a bit more damage than your average dude.
Don't turn me into a monster!
You chose to be a monster, Ivo.
What does that make an alien freak like you?
That makes no sense as a response. I honestly wasn't expecting to have any serious problems with the show. I really underestimated my own autism. This show started out so decently. It seems to be best at simpler, more fun and energetic, even slice of life moments, and really struggles with crafting compelling drama. It was pretty revealing watching this back to back with Justice League Unlimited, a show that was much better at character, drama, and themes, and that was straight up made for kids. It really accentuated the silliness of Mouse. Even though it's not outright terrible, we should have higher standards than to call something like this definitively good.
Mm-hmm.